Also, here in the region, Haiti has been hit by a 7.2 earthquake, and almost 1,300 dead, around 5,000 or so injured. The toll may go up, we don't know, but at last reporting, those were the numbers. So once again, Haiti is being hit with disaster. Seems like they can't get out of one before the next one hits. But we remember the people of Haiti as they go through yet another disaster. All right. Today being the 16th of August, that puts us some 30 days out from September 16th, which is designated our National Heroes Day. And then shortly after that, a few days after that, on the 19th of September, is Independence Day. So as we move closer to, from today, as we move closer to September 16th and independence, we will try to focus a lot on the national icons, national cultural, national heroes, and all things national as we move through the next month. And I want to start off today by kind of just asking the question, as we've asked before, what really makes a national hero? I know we have had 5 national heroes to date. National heroes are not something that is awarded every year and will never be awarded every year, because it should be awarded sparingly. And so we have had 5 to date. The thing is, though, that all 5 seem to come from the same grouping, same sector, same occupation, same career, to become national heroes. Now, all of those national heroes deserve to be, in my opinion. They all fit the bag, as we would say. But just wondering, as we always do, if there are no other areas that deserve to be considered. So let's talk about some of the things we look for. Talk about a national hero. And most of us will agree that a hero is a person who is admired and acknowledged for their courage, their outstanding achievements, their noble qualities, and who has had a transformative effect on our nation. A national hero is someone who has made significant positive contributions to the growth and development of our society and represents all of us. To know our heroes is to know ourselves, our values, our collective history, who we are, and what makes us as nationals great. Acknowledging our history and acknowledging our heroes is an acknowledgement of who we are history, of our heritage, and our culture. It is said that you can tell more about a nation and its people by who they choose to recommend and who they choose to admire, who they choose to award. But you can also tell a whole lot, or maybe a whole lot more, about a nation and its people by whom they choose to forget or not recognize. National Heroes Day is celebrated on September 16th, as I said, every year, and the purpose then is to honor those persons who have been officially designated as national heroes in the nation. The National Hero designation is a lifetime honor that is bestowed, and once a person is so named as a national hero, he or she will be a national hero forever. And whenever we think of a national hero, we think of the following. We can all agree that the individual to be designated as a national hero should meet most of or all of the following criteria. As I said, their contributions to the nation, they have enriched the lives of others, has a legacy that will stand the test of time and have continued relevance for the future, has contributed to the quality of life and the destiny of the nation, be considered as outstanding in their area of activity, has ready name recognition among the general population, is recognized by his or her profession or organization, and is reflective of our nation's cultural heritage and diversity of thought. We talk of a person who is dedicated, is committed, exhibits self-sacrifice, conscientiousness, demonstrate consistency and passion. A person who may have been or is an agent of change for the betterment. Persons who demonstrates ethical behavior. A person who is a risk taker for the betterment and benefit of a nation. Now, one of the things, as I said, we talk about many times is how are we able to ignore so many people, past and present, of this country who fit all those things, those attributes that just listed, but never thought of them to be designated as national heroes. But somehow, if you're in a certain profession, you're seen to, in the minds of our people, rise to the very top of our consciousness and our thought when we think about national heroes. And so that is the case to date, not to suggest that those who have been designated have not been designated as such deservedly, because I think they are. But we seem to leave out people who have made contributions in many different sectors. We acknowledge that they've made those contributions. We talk about them. but yet we don't have them rising to that level in our minds. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about, in glowing terms, Dr. William Connor. As a matter of fact, our Parliament saw fit to pass a resolution honoring him on his 100th. And when you listen to that resolution and you listen to all the things that were read out in that resolution, all the accomplishments of this individual, all the things this individual have done, you can't help but say, but that is a national hero. There would be no question. However, those type of individuals have not risen to that level. I dare say, though, if he had jumped into the political arena, it might have been easy. He might have been already named such. But there's just one individual I'm talking about. But there are several others that may fit the criteria. But it just doesn't happen. And as we go along, there will be other national heroes that we can identify. And I'm sure in your minds, you already have some thoughts on people who could be, whether living or dead, people who could be designated as such. And we know, as I said before, it is not something that's going to happen every year, not even every 5 years, maybe not even every 10 years. But as you see, we are a young nation and we already designated 5. But as we think about this going forward, maybe on the significant numbers or anniversaries of independence, we begin to put these names forward, and that is the key. You got to put the names forward and make the case for such designation. And we would hope that people will do so from time to time, and even if it doesn't happen in the same year that you did, that at some time in the future it will come to pass. So just wanted to get your thoughts on how we celebrate our heroes, designated or not, what you think we should do, how we should handle these things, and also, as we talk about things of national interest, we also will have discussions as we go forward about changing things around us, the symbols, the icons, changing names. People talk about name changing to reflect our own history and our own culture. Whether it be streets, whether it be parks, whether it be neighborhoods, they can come to symbolize for the future, for the young people of the future, who will ask about why this particular area or street has this particular name, and it will bring awareness to people who have contributed significantly to our development and our culture. All right, so those are my thoughts today. Feel free to join me. 465-2555 when we come back, and also 718-577-2916. We will take a quick break. When we come back, the lines are open. Feel free to join the conversation.
vaccinated, and everybody gon' be safe. Everybody gon' be safe. One kind, yeah. One people. We are roll up to roll up, yeah. Cause no man's alone. Do what's right, alright. Cause I love you, brother, my sister. And we're in this together, my sister, my brother. I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much. I think it's better for us, yeah, yeah. It's better for us, yeah. I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much, yeah, yeah. It's better for us. Tell your mommy to roll out.
Bless up, Dejo here, and I'm doing my part in the fight against COVID-19 by following all safety protocols and, most importantly, rolling up my sleeve for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same, because that's our best shot of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.
Possible infections in large groups. Also, avoid sharing cutlery, cups, glassware, etc. with others. Viruses can linger on these items and may be transferred this way. Avoid shaking and holding hands, and hugging or keeping an infected person in close proximity. This is a message from the Ministry of Health and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA.
Welcome back to Frank and Candid on this Monday morning, and we will go to the phones and say good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Nair.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, on the subject of national heroes, as you rightly said, we are here in the Federation only seem to give national hero status to a certain group of people, and I've said this on more than one occasion. I think the people who lost their lives in the Buckley's uprising in 1935 should be considered national heroes because they made the ultimate sacrifice. They never lived to see what they sacrificed, what benefits was gained from them. Because of that, labor movements were stacked all over the region. They were just illiterate cane cutters. I don't know if that's why they're not considered. But these are the people we come from. A lot of us have to give our honor to these people because they went out there just to make a little more money to support their families. There wasn't a political agenda or nothing like that. It was just because they felt they were being taken advantage of because of the amount of work they were doing, and they were paid almost less than nothing. And they went out there not knowing they would lose their lives that day. They went out there because they were tired of being treated the wrong way, and they wanted better for themselves and their families. So I believe they should be considered because, if I'm not mistaken, I think at least 2 women lost their lives too. They saw the soldiers there with the weapons pointed at them, and they didn't run, they stood their ground. I don't know about you, Mr. Knife, but I would have found the smallest stone to hide behind. I wouldn't have stand up here. And they stood their ground and they lost their lives just because they wanted better for themselves and their families. So I think whoever listening, whoever does this election for this, that these individuals, I mean, it doesn't have to be one person all the time. I believe these people are more than worthy of having that title bestowed on them. And the Rastafarian community and the learned scholars among us, when the anniversary comes around, they try to keep it up, and they've been asking for a monument in Buckley's Yard. I don't know if that's been done as yet, but if they won't do that, at least give them that status. And on the subject of things being changed, I would say the added Sir Thomas Warner we need to give the full story about Sir Thomas Warner. My son had a school project to write about him, and I told him to put the truth in there, that Sir Thomas Warner was a genocidal murderer. He was responsible for one, if not the greatest atrocities in our federation, killed off thousands of indigenous people, but yet we honor him and fix up his tomb and nice plaque answer down there, and what he was responsible for killing off the Caribs and enslaving our ancestors. I mean, I'm not saying we should knock down whatever, but we need to add on everything that he was responsible for. That's just my 2 cents for now.
All right, and thank you for that. I do take your point about the 1935. There were 3 dead listed there, one Joseph Samuel, one John Allen, and one James Archibald. The 3 dead that has been listed as a result of the 1935 Buckley's Uprising. Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Myers.
Good morning, sir.
How are you today?
I am well.
Mr. Myers, this is Jenny, and I'm in respect with your topics that you throw out. However, I'm listening, and I would like, with your permission, if you would permit me to mention something. I think I mentioned something on Friday on your station pertaining to our spirituality as African people. I want to say good morning to Mrs. Henry, and especially the sheriff in Hertfordshire, if they're listening. Mr. Myers, Friday I said that I'm not going to go back into the full detail of what I said, but I just want to touch back on what I said on Friday about if we are praying to a Jehovah God or to a Jesus.
Carl, before you go there, do you have any thoughts on the topic itself? I mean, because we could go to that after. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, but you know, the first caller kind of touched the Sir Thomas Warner story for me, and
okay,
I'm not really one in re-echoing, but you know, yeah, that I have thoughts on that. That's what I was thinking of, you know, the Sir Thomas Warner story.
Okay, go ahead.
We tend to glorify those people who have no love for us. But if you will permit me, Mr.
Quickly,
Meyer,
go ahead.
Yeah. When I said that if we are praying to a God by the name of Jehovah or to Jesus, you see, this is our restoration time now, Mr. Nyas, and for me, we need to, there's a word that the African use called Sankofa. Sankofa means to fetch back, get back to know who we are in the terms of knowledge, the knowledge of self. Now, I'm going to finish just now, but just let me bring to our people's attention, if we're going to go, well, I'm going to the Bible where we spoke about, I don't know if you're familiar with Esau and Jacob, Mr. Nyas. The 2 brothers that was born unto Isaac by Rachel in the Bible. Esau being the firstborn, Jacob being the second. Esau sold his birthright, and in the end, he sold his birthright to his brother Jacob, according to the narrative of the book, and in the end, he also obtained the blessing from his father Isaac through subtlety by his mother. Now, how does that play out with us today? This thing about selling of the birthright. The birthright belongs to the firstborn, but the narrative in the book is that he sold and he lost out his birthright, he lost out on the blessing that the father was about to bless him just before he died. Today, that is our narrative that we are living once we are separating from the continent of Africa. I mentioned earlier that God promised his people, who were the firstborn, our race, the black race, the land of milk and honey. The narrative of the writers of the Bible gave us that we sold our birthright. Today, those descendants from our colonizers are reaping generational wealth from our birthright. I want our people to ponder this, Because, Mr. Nias, while we are separating from the continent of Africa due to our geographical space, those same colonizers, their descendants, and even you can go further by including their unborn generation, are inheriting our birthright in generational wealth. What is on the continent of Africa is yours and mine. Now, it might seem strange because, of where we are and how are we going to obtain this. We hear also, I'm going to finish.
Let's finish up now quickly, Carl.
Yes.
Go ahead.
We hear now that Caribbean tourism is dead in the water. Well, we don't know how long this is going to prolong for. We need to make our connection back on the continent of Africa. That is our future. Thank you for hearing me.
All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and Queen Enzing. God bless them, my beloved African. But how are you, the family?
Oh, well, how are you?
Good, man, and the clan is good. Now, my beloved, but let me say, blessed morning to the first caller, Lance, and to the second caller, my brother, Journey. Now, beloved, Journey, let me just in you, with that word, Sankofa. It's a Kiswahili or Swahili word. Swahili or Kiswahili is a language spoken in a lot of countries in East Africa, not all of the countries, but not for another time. So it means in order to move forward, you got to revisit the past, in order to move forward. You go back to our great past, and from that, you make your present fell and you just sing with your future, beloved. So it just means to move forward, but we got to revisit our past. Beloved, you see, our people are so colonialized. Majority of them, but then that's the fact. This is no allegation. You want to tell me, follow this Eurocentric, chauvinistic, sexist way? What? And the sisters, I don't like to use the old-time word, but they're going to use the old-time English word. Herring. No herring, they beloved. None of our African queens contribute nothing in St. Kitts Nevis. I will prefer to say she was New Jack. So, what you going to say? National Heroes Day. And nobody come with no foolish biblical crap come and tell me about man mean woman too. That's utter nonsense. It's supposed to be national heroes and herring the national herring and heroes, they are heroes. They're beloved. Heroes and heroes, they're not this nonsense about national heroes there. And beloved, let me say, they got quote-unquote 5 of them. Well, it's only 3 of them I recognize, but everybody don't know where I stand with that. And the 3 I recognize is Mr. Sauter, the great Simeon Daniel, and the great Dr. Simmons, beloved. Everybody knows, so I don't want to waste time and think you meet those people. But I'm going to tell you, if they had it right, beloved, what happened to Marcus of the Woods? What happened to our African ancestors along with him who fought for our liberation? And like someone, I think was my brother Orlando, what about those 39ers? Great buckles uprising. And others, I could name 2 sisters who could be national heroes. One of them is still living. That's Queen Mother Sylvine Henry. This ain't got nothing to do with politics. She has contributed tremendously and still contributing. As a teacher, motivational speaker who advocates for women, not just African women, alone, women in general, children. And she been doing that, beloved, for decades. And Queen Mother Garnet, no, she's now as an ancestor. And you got other sisters there who have transitioned and is still alive. It's only politician and a male politician could be quote unquote national hero. Utter nonsense, man. We got to get things right. You see, when I said neo-colonialism, brother, you don't have to put nobody in shackles, in chains or anything like that. As long as you control their mind, that's it, beloved. That is it. You know, this nonsense that we just continue, neo-colonialism coming up to now. You know, it's just ridiculous and sad. We have brilliant people when it comes to things, brother, but that common sense and that Pan-Africanness, beloved, that Africanness, let me say that. Where is it? Where is the Pan-African philosophy? Brother, and you know, most of these people in colleges and universities, they don't want to hear nothing but Pan-Africanism. But as soon as you come with something Eurocentric, they glorify it and they spread it like wildfire. And this is an allegation. That's the fact. No wonder majority of our youths ain't got no Pan-Africanness in them. And they even reject it in the youth for that, but we must change that as Pan-Africanists. We must change that everywhere in this planet, beloved brother. So, brother, we must think we own. And I agree with you, all these name changing. You hear me used to talk about it for years. Come on. You're supposed to just get a bulldozer and just bulldoze Thomas Warner thing down there and send his bones back like British before it. Send it back to England. The park and everything. How come the park still name half an enslaver? Come on, man. What do we mean? Man, brother, this nonsense got to stop, man. In a square, in African square. Look, that thing may come out of Scotland or somewhere there. Still there. Still got a clock there. When we could put one of our heroes right there. Come on, man. We got to stop this backwardness and self-hate and wrap ourselves in the red, black and green and espouse for Pan-Africanism. It's only Pan-Africanism is our only solution. Beloved, and I've said a lot, so continue to listen. Pan-Africanism at first. One love, my beloved brother.
All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning, welcome. Good morning, caller. You live? Okay, let's try this one.
Am I on?
Yes, you're on live. Go ahead.
Yeah, listen nice quickly. Journey here again. I just want to say, right, that when it comes to our spirituality, the colonizers gave us a colonized God. Let me repeat that, Mr. Nyers. They gave us a colonized God because they know that if they keep us away from raising to the Fahrenheit that we are, we will be making that connection with our ancestors and the Most High through our vibration. So, Mr. Nice, there's a reason why we have Fahrenheit and Celsius. We are of the Fahrenheit. The colonizers knew that. That's why they have given us a God. One of your caller mentioned earlier last week that a God for nothing. That is what the colonizers gave us. And that thing, we have swallowed that hook, line, and sinker. Whenever we pray to their colonized God, our prayers are not ascending to the Fahrenheit that it should. That's why we're still in this conundrum. Mr. Myers, as we go forward, I'm gonna break down the Immaculate Conception that they give us through the Virgin Mary. I'm going to break down this to our people to know where that story came from. Because names that we are using today, I said last week, it is like trying to retrieve spilled water that is spilled on the ground. We need to, as that caller just came off, said, I tried to explain Sankofa. Sankofa is to feed into the past to create the present and create a better future. We have to go back to what it was. The book says, as it were in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. We have to go back. And just for the essence of time, Mr. Myers, when I get back in maybe tomorrow, I would like to explain the breakdown of the Virgin Mary and the Immaculate Conception, because this is our story that they copied, they pasteurized it, and they gave us to pontificate. And while we're pontificating their narrative, our prayers, our vibration, our spirituality are not ascending to the Fahrenheit that it's supposed to. Now, I, who have been awakened, I'm going to finish now. I, who have been awakened, and I am unplugged from their narrative. I am feeding from my ancestors on the continent, my ancestors here, and I have platforms that are giving me the knowledge, that knowledge of self within me now. You have it, all of us have it, but it has to be broken, it has to be awakened. Thank you for hearing me.
All right, let's go to the next caller. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Yes, good morning. Platform, just a minute there. Some people really overdo it, but I guess you know best. Now, in all fairness to how someone becomes a national hero, my understanding is that you go down to the government headquarters and you get this application and you fill it out and you submit it with the necessary information. So for people to call in and say, they think this should be this and this should be that, there's a process. Go through the process. Saying it on the radio it's not going to happen. You understand? So I like your opening salvo, but what was missing was the process, because it appears that a lot of people do not know there is a process. Getting on the radio and repeating the same thing over and over is not going to help. So if you could slip in the process, that might help. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Let's go back to the phone. Say good morning. Welcome to Frank.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Hey, good morning, the King.
You know, this show was one of the most updated show. You know, I notice now we come in a drag-out show. You know, because you have two of them done calling this morning. One calling from the States talking all kind of nonsense, which I don't know what he call, because nothing he call down here and talk make no sense at all. You know? So I don't even know what he waste time calling down here for. You understand me? But if I was you, I can recommend he to be a national hero, a bull.
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. Going back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome. Good morning, caller. You're live.
Yes, Brother Nias. Yes, Brother Nias. Brother Nias, personal, before that clown who talk about process. Brother, don't care what process. Let me tell you, right? You could submit names and a certain political party or partisan. They're gonna reject it if that person is not of their party affiliation, whether it's PAM, NRP, before that Labour, and the guy from St. Paul's party. That's how things go. And you know that. I bet if I go through the procedure, and people have done that before, and it was rejected, my brother. If I come now, whatsoever, whether I go through the so-called procedure, and I submit markers of the votes and our ancestors, I know even this committee that they have now under immunity, with the neo-colonialism that they have inside there, they're going to reject it. I'm telling you, beloved. This ain't got nothing to do with no procedure. You have too many neo-colonialists in all like parties them in the St. Kitts and Nevis. Too many of them. 99.999 of them. So regardless of what procedure you got you're going to get the same result from all of these parties in St. Kitts and Nevis. Brother, thanks again for hearing me. Pan-Africanism and Paris.
All right. back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Morning, Mr. Knight.
Good morning.
I thought that our nation are made up of both males and females. And to suggest a female being a hero or heroine, what is so bad with that? What is so bad with that? To suggest that a female being a hero. After all, we were born from a woman, and we must lift our women up. We must lift our mothers up. We must lift our wives up. We must lift our sisters up, our nieces. For someone to suggest of a feminine aspect in our midst, I really can't understand where people's levels at. And this is why we are where we are. We're promoting something that would never grow a nation if we are to think that way. It's our women grow the nation. They are the ones that bore the seed and give birth after 40 weeks. Come on. That sounds sickening to suggest that a woman cannot be a hero. And what's wrong with that?
Who suggested that, caller?
Well, a caller from the U.S. was suggesting that, well, predominantly there are males that are heroes
Right.
in our nation building.
Mm-hmm.
And the time should come, like yesterday, that we consider a woman a female.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I'm all for that. There were other things that were said, but you just kind of blanket everything that was said. One has to be careful with when we hear contributions and just blanket it as that, because we were all born from a woman. We were all born from a woman, and we have to lift our mothers up. That is why, in the religious circles, where we are where we are because of our trauma, spiritually, culturally, and otherwise. We can remove past that. Thanks for listening.
Okay, let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid. Good morning, caller.
Hello, Mr. Morris.
Yes, sir.
Am I on?
You are on your live.
This is Sonny Boy, better known as Alfonso. I just heard Rock spoke on the phone. The point I was trying to make to you Friday, and I didn't get upset with you, I was just trying to make a point. In Africa, all the African countries that become independent from the British colony of England, no part in their government official name they use the word royal. They cut their ties with the British. That is one point I was trying to go across. And I want to ask a question. You know that I used to work at ZZ from Salton Alley named Fitzroy Matthews, they call him Mopstick?
Mopstick?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I know
That was Fitzroy Matthews. He used to work with, he had a lot of dreadlocks. He used to work with ZZ. He was like a historian.
I'm not sure that I remember that person. What year was this? You remember? I don't. You're talking about Jerry Mopstick?
Yeah, because I live in America since I was in my 20s, and I don't remember what year he used to work at ZZ. But if you check the records, you will find him. He did.
I'm wondering if you're talking about Jerry Mopstick, caller?
Was included. The
Caller, you still there?
I'm trying to make to you. I am not
All right, not listening.
anti nobody. I just want the British Caribbean islands to realize it's time for them to cut their ties with the British and go at it alone. Because all the British did for us is to take. And they don't want to give back anything to us. The other countries that I mentioned, like France and the United States, they're not perfect, but they do a lot more for the island citizens than England do for the island people of their colonizers. So that's all the point I was trying to make to you. And if I come off to be a little hostile, I apologize. But I know my people from St. Kitts Nevis. Right now as I speak to you, I got a birth certificate Mark, St. Kitts, Linguist, and Angola. How much citizen could say they still got the birth certificate that said that? So the point I'm trying to make to you is that our people need to wake up, wake up, wake up. Okay, Mr. Harris, thanks a lot for your time.
Sure.
May God bless you.
Thank you. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Yeah, I think you were speaking about matchstick.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I mean,
Yeah.
of course you know Mopstick.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Is it those two columns? I don't even want to mention it. Is it the Kittian, American, or African? Because Father says the two of them make mention that they've never been to Africa before. So I don't know why they really want to push us there. It's a choice that everybody make their mind up. Anyhow, what I really call about is, I don't know if the environmental people take a joy lately over in lynches with those seaweeds. I mean, it's really piled up to at least maybe 6 to 8 feet at the beachfront. The water don't have a space to run off, so it's a big pool up there. If they could even get a backer just to shift some of it, let it push it around, because I'm telling you, if you live over here, you gotta have a heart. It smells almost just like feces.
I know what you mean.
And it's not healthy for people to inhale that all the time. Another concern, is it there's a rift between the Prime Minister and the former Prime Minister?
Not that I know of. I don't know. You have to ask him that.
Because of the road, which is in number 6. There are some real potholes, and that area seems to be neglected. I wonder if it's something personal, but it's not the Prime Minister is being affected. It's mostly the people that drive and use that road. From St. Paul's to Newton Ground, there were some lights put there by the Taiwanese a couple of years back. I drove there, only one of the lights is showing. Is the problem is bulb? Why don't they replace it? People do walk.
Where was this?
From St. Paul's to Newton Ground.
Okay.
There was some, I think was the Taiwanese used to put some bulb, There's only one of the bulb is showing from St. Paul's to Newton Ground.
Okay.
I don't know if they can fix it. So if there's a rift, please take it out of it. People are suffering.
I got you.
All right.
All
Have a
right.
good day.
You too.
Yeah.
Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Hello, good day.
Good day.
There's something that I find to be rather a little mysterious, and I need some clarity, and maybe I don't know what. I have not heard the Taliban say what their position is going to be in relation to cricket. Another thing too, I think the Americans had to train, let us say, army of 75,000 women to fight. They would have kept the Taliban at bay, you know. Thank you.
Okay. Possible. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. How are you?
I am well.
How was your weekend?
Very good. Wet but good.
Wanted to call a call. The one that talk about write down names at government headquarters. He's so right. Because if you go in round and pick up everybody, you wouldn't know who to pick up. So you put down the names of the people and they will have to pick it out. And another thing, my heart goes out to the people from Haiti, and we see what went on, because the Bible said that in times will be famine, flood, fire, and all kind of things. So it leaves to us to prepare. And people mustn't think that these things, what they're doing, is politics. They're not politics. But you have to know directly who to pick out at the time. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes, I'm just calling in to confirm, to give some clarity also to what the gentleman suggested, who used to be on the radio program. He's known as Tamboroki, one of you all know him as that.
Yeah.
And the program he used to do was Under the
Banyan Tree, correct.
Right. I think that ZLZ have some good archives that, from time to time they need to revisit some of those things that, here and, programs of such, because times are moving on and then 5-10 years run so fast and then There are things that are there in the archives that we can refresh our memories and also our youth, you know, hearing those things from time to time would add adage to what we are and what we should become a nation. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, just throw me for a loop there with the name. Sometimes you get people's real name and you just you can't figure it out. But yeah, we're familiar with that. Back to the phones. Good morning.
Yes, brother, you know, it was like my good brother said, Tambo Chinela Kitwana. Yeah, under the banyan tree. I used to listen to the program when I can. It was a good, very informative program. And I take the brother come from People's Pan-African Republic of Tiepe, Tambo Chinela Kitwana, Neighbor Stringberry, just like a man. Now, beloved, let me say, man, I don't know how that slipped me, man. You know what I mean? Of people in Haiti, in the Republic of Haiti, beloved. I just wish our people well, and condolences to all our sisters and brothers in Haiti, man. And you know how people gonna get out of this in Haiti? But there ain't nothing on this planet could wipe us out, beloved. But Haiti being Haiti, let me say the right thing. Haiti being going to a lot of things, beloved. And if they conquer the greatest army at that time, the French army led by that idiot Napoleon, beloved, can conquer anything, beloved. So, my sisters and brothers in Haiti, man, just continue, my beloved sister. Hold on to the spirit of the ancestors, and there will be deliverance and triumph. After a storm, it must be a calm. And Haiti will rise again. Haiti must rise again, beloved. But thanks again for hearing me, man.
Okay. Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid. Yeah. Call you there? Okay. Think we lost that caller? No call? Okay. Lost that caller. Let's try this one. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tony?
Yes, good morning.
There is a national hero in the Caribbean. None. You have the Maroons in Jamaica.
Okay. That's it? Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Back to the phones. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. I called to amplify the statement I made about the process. The lady who called, even she doesn't understand that there's a process. It's not a matter of getting names. There's an application. They need to listen to bulletin board. You know, it's there, but people are not listening. And for my boy up there, he's giving the impression as if, well, whether you do it or not, I'm not into that. There's a process, follow the process. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, back to the phone. Good morning.
Yes, quickly, Mr. Nayas. This division some of our people have every time they hear about Africa, he burn them in the soul. They want to hear about Africa. Well, to those people, I'm begging them hard, don't look in the mirror, you know, because it's an African they're going to see. Our culture is different, yes, but that's our genetic makeup. Don't care what you do unless you're going to bleach out your skin with Clorox. Your genetic makeup is African. I don't hear European people talking about, me no want to hear born of England, me no want to hear born of France. They could trace the roots right back to Lord Chanticleer and all kind of things. But we just hate our own legacy, and that is what's going to always mash us up. Africa is where our ancestors came from. Nothing could wash it off. The white people and all the African, every man, every race came out of Africa, in case people don't know. And with the process, I don't know if they do it online, but I was thinking sometimes you have to try something new. Maybe you could have a ballot initiative, or simple people could vote on who they would like to be a national hero. You know, you put out names, and if people want to vote on that or whatever, I mean, sometimes we have to try new things because, as everybody know, when you hit the bureaucracy and the red tape, a lot of things will get tied up. But we got to done with this stupidness. I never hear no white man say, I don't want to hear about England, I don't want to hear about France. They love where they come from, and they would die, they would fight you tooth and nail if you disrespect where they come from. Thank you.
Let's see if we can get a final call in here. Final caller, go ahead.
Mr. Nyers.
Yes.
I am certain that 99% of petitions know that there is a process when it comes to national hero. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we do listen to bulletin boards, but even bulletin boards, we know that not only national hero, even when you know to be what the other things OB and
the
you know
the honors and the honors.
Yes, even the 25 remarkable youths, everything you have to fill out a form.
Correct.
And I am certain about 99% of petitions and divisions know that. Yeah, that's my little bit.
And thank you for that. We will call that a wrap. And we will be back tomorrow, if it is to be, with much more Frank and Candid. I'm Tony Nyers. Enjoy the rest of your day.
ZIZ Radio, entertaining the nation, enjoyed by the world.
At ZIZ, we want to take a moment to salute our small business owners and encourage you to support them. Our small business owners are always hard at work providing